The internet is rife with people saying false things about Christianity and the Bible. Occasionally I address them, especially when they're coming from government officials or high-profile influencers on social media. Recently I came across a video on Reddit, and it touched my heart enough to warrant comment. Early in her post, she comments that Jesus was anti-capitalism, pro-immigration, and anti-death penalty.
From what I've read, Jesus seems like a pretty okay guy. He was anti-capitalism, pro-immigration, anti-death penalty.
She's wrong about all three of these claims. First of all, was Jesus anti-capitalism? No. Jesus never endorsed or execrated any particular economic system. All human government systems are flawed. All have pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses. They are all vulnerable to abuse. But as far as capitalism is concerned, Jesus never spoke against those who owned private property when he conversed with them. He never spoke against earning money for oneself through honest business. Nor was Jesus against the accumulation of wealth. Yes, he asked the rich young ruler to give his wealth away. But that was for a specific instance. He never asked the same of the very wealthy Levi, the tax collector. I wouldn't say that Jesus was a capitalist, but neither is it fair to say that Jesus was anti-capitalism. Second, was Jesus pro-immigration? No, he wasn't. No doubt she's talking about secure borders and either regulated or unregulated traffic through those borders. Jesus never made any comment about such things, so we are wrong to put words in Jesus' mouth. It is often said that Jesus himself was an immigrant, so he would certainly endorse liberal policies about open borders. Again, that's not only putting words in Jesus' mouth, it's an anachronistic conversation. They didn't have the same kind of borders we do, or would ever have the same understanding of immigration that we have in our modern world. Technically, though, Jesus was an exile, not an immigrant. Because of a threat to his life, he left his own country, knowing it would be just temporary, and he would return shortly to his own country. He was in exile in Egypt for temporary refuge for maybe about a year and a half. That's not what immigration is. Third, was Jesus anti-death penalty? No. For the third time, Jesus makes no statements about such things, so we can't put words in Jesus' mouth. But we do know he endorsed the law of Moses, which specifically advocates for the death penalty. So that's at least one evidence to the contrary. We know he let the woman caught in adultery go free, but that was because the whole situation was using her in an unjust trap. We can make legitimate inferences that Jesus would support the Torah's teaching on capital punishment, and we have no evidence that he was anti-death penalty. Then she claims people who have left the faith have read the Bible, but current evangelicals have not.
For anyone who has actually read the Bible, which I think includes most ex-Christians but very few current evangelicals,
this claim is nothing more than pompous pretense to establish herself as in the know and evangelicals as ignorant frauds. It's nothing more than malice to claim that she and other ex-Christians are smarter and know the Bible better than Christians do. Later in the video, she claims that same-sex marriage is a basic human right.
thanks to the UMC's ongoing refusal to condone same-sex marriages and other basic human rights for the LGBTQ community.
This declaration is just one more step in an unceasing expansion of the idea of rights to include any personal preference. Frankly, even marriage itself is not a right, but instead a privilege and a blessing. None of us has a right to get married. People now claim a right to safe zones, to use offensive language, to burn buildings in protest, to segregated housing, to emotional support exotic animals, or to allow men to compete as women against biological women in female sports. These are not rights. Same-sex marriage is no more a human right than the right to good luck. Her final offensive statement was to associate religion with magical thinking and superstition.
Religion and other forms of magical thinking and superstition, they succeed when fear and uncertainty reign.
Quote, "They succeed when fear and uncertainty reign," close quote. There is little that is so false. Christianity is based in logic, reasoning, and evidence. She obviously disagrees with the conclusions to which the evidences lead, but it's rude, derogatory, inaccurate, and deceptive to describe Christianity this way. Ours is a belief that can hold its own for the scholar and the child, in science and in philosophy, in times of comfort and in times of trouble. False information has always been an affliction of humanity, and the internet has given it jet fuel and viral capabilities. We must confront it, combat it, and correct it.